Blessings, blessings, and more blessings to every single one of you out there. Hello.
What's up?
How are you all doing? I hope you are all well. You already know it's Queen of Bergen here.
Chemistry.
And we are the Life We Chose podcast.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
all
indeed.
Right. Now, if you're listening, can you do the homework? You feel me?
Oh,
For
yeah,
anybody
yeah,
who's...
yeah. If you guys are listening on your favorite audio streaming platform, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
Yes.
All of your ratings, get this information out to other people who are listening or who want to stay tuned into some good content. And if you are on YouTube, please watch this episode. Watch this episode, like and subscribe. We are here right now in a new location.
Yes.
So make sure you get off that streaming platform and head on over to YouTube so you can see what we got going on here.
That's why we wanted to make the transition.
Oh, of course.
All right, that's why I wanted to bring it up. We're going to do the homework first because we need to talk about, where we're at right now. And I know this is a very new space for any people who is frequently listening to the Life We Chose podcast throughout the week.
Yes.
We're usually on the couch. And you feel me? New year, new energy.
New year, new energy.
New
Cheers
year,
to
new
that.
energy. Clink on the glass. Cheers to that. All right. This is the very first episode of 2024. Yes.
Yeah, that was the claps.
You know what I'm saying? It is the very first episode of the Life We Chose podcast, and we felt like it just made sense to have like a little special edition.
Yes, indeed.
A little special edition. We are actually filming this live from Kearny Point Studios in Kearny, New Jersey.
Yes.
And this isn't the first time we've been here.
No, this is actually the third time.
This is the third
that
time.
We've touched
This
soil.
is the third time. So just before we even hop into today's episode, can you talk a little bit about like how we even discovered Kearny Point, like where this kind of came from, and just like set the foundation for the listeners?
Yeah. So, I think that it came from, number one, it being this idea, this concept of us wanting to learn more about podcasting, getting into the podcasting space, understanding what it takes to be
to even make this happen.
Yeah. So I think you actually found the location. There was an event taking place here where Kearny Studios was actually providing the opportunity for podcasters to come and network with other podcasters who are using this studio and have been podcasting for we met people who were here for a year down the line
on their 100th episode, or people like us who hadn't even released the Life We Chose by the time we first came here.
Yeah. So we met a couple of great people here, and then the second time we got here, that was us joining in with So What's the Scenario?
Yes.
So that was a podcast that actually had a game show that took place here, and we joined in again, jumped onto their podcast, and we played the game, and you actually
you feel me? I just came out on top. You feel me? That's the energy I want to keep in 2024.
Yes,
okay.
We appreciate that.
You know what I mean? So What's the Scenario? That episode actually released. Yeah. So if you have not seen that episode, we're going to be linking that in the YouTube description and in the show notes so you guys can check that out, because it was also filmed here.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was
one of the many.
Yeah, it was ironic though that we had been here before, and then we ended up meeting these people who were also going to be shooting in the same studio. So
exactly.
The alignment on that was crazy.
Yeah. And now we're here again.
Third time's the charm. Third time is the charm. It's also my favorite number. And the third time we're here to be talking about our New Year's episode.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
The third time is really here to set the foundation. Just like we did on the first go, we are here to set that foundation.
Yes,
all right?
Indeed.
2024, Kim.
Yes.
That year is, how do you feel about 2023 being over right now? Like, were you the kind that was like, yo, I'm ready for it? Or was it like...
I feel like, I kind of stopped counting. I kind of stopped counting. And that's going to we're going to dive into that a little bit when we start talking about the idea and concept of resolutions.
Yeah.
But I think that, it's become a lot less about like something starting and ending and then starting again for me. I feel like there's been so many shifts and changes in life in general right now that my start, it was like I felt starts and rebirths and July.
It didn't require the new year.
Yeah. It didn't at all.
But that's what you typically, when people talk about restarts, you know what I mean? We talk about the New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
Right? And that's going to be the topic of today's episode is New Year's resolutions. Right? I think arguably we should be having a conversation about like, I have some feelings towards having them. You know what I mean? I have some feelings towards having them, but I know so many people right now are thinking about what things they want to do, what goals they want to achieve, what kind of person that they want to be. And I know everyone kind of like, it's almost in a way where people come into the year with such optimism, you know, because it's like, oh, whatever happened last year, I'm going to completely shift it,
re-erase it,
we're gonna
start over,
re-erase it, start over, and move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I find it a little bit difficult for for me to hold on to New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
Right.
Break that down.
I think for me, New Year's resolutions are difficult simply for the same reason that you talked about. I go through rebirths throughout the entire year. You know, I go through these periods of time where it's like, okay, well, this habit isn't serving me today. I'm not waiting until New Year's of 2024 to make a change about it. I'm doing that right here, right now, because by the time I look at things now where it's like, what can I change before the New Year's so that I enter into 2024
in motion?
In motion. I don't want to have to kick off when, you know what I mean?
I like that.
Because then I'm going to be kicking off with everybody else.
Exactly.
Who want to do that? You know what I mean? I want to spend this time like getting myself situated and going. So how do you feel about New Year's resolutions?
I 110% agree with that. I feel like, you know, if I'm experiencing a feeling inside of myself that says I need to change something, I'm getting more comfortable with the idea of taking action in that moment rather than, you know, preparing to get to that moment. You know, we have like, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 weeks left in the year. There's a lot that can happen within 2 or 3 weeks. Like, even imagine like when we first started the concept behind the podcast, there was a point where we kept thinking of like, maybe we should just push it back a little bit so we can prepare a little bit more. It was more so you were like, nah, let's get started. Like, let's just do it. We'll figure it out along the way. And it was just like, all right, you know what? Let's go. And I think that, you know, that kind of energy, it really kind of shows face, because even where we are right now with the podcast, it's like, had we waited to get to that point, like, we'd just now be, you know, releasing and getting to a space of trying to figure out what it looks and feels like. But like now, we've gotten comfortable with the space. We've released a bunch of episodes, and we're already in the mindset of, all right, how are we transforming the podcast now? Like the steps that you're gonna take to grow, the faster you get into it is the faster that process starts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like New Year's resolutions to me feel like how people will be like, oh, on Monday I'm going to start working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you kind of arbitrarily put this deadline on what you have to do. And in a way, I just think, and this is coming from like, you know, as a being who I'm like, yo, I want to get things done as fast as possible. So you don't have to live life like me. But I think, I honestly think that New Year's resolutions has a level of procrastination to them.
Yeah.
You know, there's a level of procrastination in New Year's resolutions because we say to ourselves that, like, whatever it is that we need to change, I'm going to wait until this distance.
Well, it always feels easier to say, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. But you know what it is, though? It's like, it's fundamentally disrespectful to assume that you have tomorrow to give. To begin with. That is fundamentally disrespectful. And then you're going to be like, you on somewhere, it's like, I know people right now. You know what I mean? It'd be November. You know what I mean? Like, after they had their Thanksgiving meal, I'd be like, nah, I'm going to just wait until the new year, because you already know the thing's going to happen. That's like, but there's a psychology to it. Yeah. Like, that's why you can go to a gym and get like a gym membership for $1. You know what I mean? Or something like that when the new year comes, because everybody's thinking to themselves, how am I going to be better? How am I going to be this?
Exactly.
But like, to some extent, we have to ask ourselves, why do people fall off the wagon? You know what I mean? Because that's a big thing too. That's why a lot of people don't like calling it New Year's resolutions anymore. Yeah. Because after 2 or 3 weeks, if you fall off the wagon, then you like, you know.
Now we're coming into that land of accountability again. Once again.
Yeah, and you didn't have it to begin with because you pushed off whatever you wanted to do. The math doesn't math. The math doesn't math. So I think that like in going to the new year, I'm thinking about instead of us like really focusing on New Year's resolutions, this idea where it's like the new year starts and then we're going to start doing this other thing. Instead, I want to think about what are our goals? Yeah. Period. You know, what are our goals? And then those goals don't have to be astronomical. Like typically when people think about New Year's resolutions, they think about like their goals are they're much larger than the time frame, right?
100%.
So it's like they'll probably go into like, you know, when you get to the gym, you're like, oh, I want a 6-pack by the summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, I want to like, you know, quit my job and pay off these things or whatever the case may be. And those are great goals if you're going to like hammer down and have the discipline to do it.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for me to understand how capable a person can be if like in reality you weren't capable before.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's the problem for everyone is that they come into the new year in some ways wanting to start at the top of the ladder. Because you look at the big goal and it's like, all right, I have to do the big thing to meet the big goal, instead of us, you know, kind of breaking down that goal and saying, all right, what are the little things that we're doing to get to work toward that goal, so that we don't end up in this atmosphere where we wound up falling off, or it becomes overwhelming and overbearing. And now, you know, we pull back. You know, they say a lot of times that the longest a resolution lasts is to the mid-February.
Yeah.
Mid-February, because we go in at 110.
At 110,
like, let's
all
go,
the motivation in the world.
And you running down to exhaustion.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, let me quietly.
Let me quietly step back with the rest of society.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a small hypothesis. Okay, this is an assumption I'm gonna make. All right,
Okay.
I'm not a social scientist, but here's my hypothesis. Right.
What's that?
Right. You know, in December, right, this holiday season is pretty rough. Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're not a kid, you know, kids enjoy the holidays because it's just like I get gifts, I get everything in the world or whatever. But as an adult, I feel like for me, in the holidays, it's pretty difficult, right? We live on the East Coast of New Jersey. It gets dark at 4 o'clock, right? It's midnight by 5, right?
Yeah.
So our vitamin D levels are getting low. You know, there's a lot of feelings about like seasonal depression. There's a lot of things. Most importantly, and this is the part that like has really hit me, is that this is prime comparison season. Prime comparison season. We are in the season now of people like showing off all the food that they got to eat, all the gifts, the couples with the matching pajama pantsuits and the
family gatherings.
The vacations. People will go off to the paradise, you know what I mean, during the cold times. It's like, this has certainly, and also people showing what they've done in 2023.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So people will show.
Let's talk about the Spotify Wrapped.
Let's talk about how many of those have you seen?
Yeah.
Oh, I got 1 million streams. I traveled here. I did this. This is the time of the year where people are like trying their hardest to profess how much their goals and resolutions came to term. Yeah. Right. And I think that that's one of the reasons why people don't hold on to their resolutions in January, like in February, because you're building them off of the comparisons that you see from other people. Right. In a way where it's like this person got 1 million streams. OK, cool. I'm going to make a song every day and I'm going to do this thing. And because you see it all happening for other people and you're like, I want that for myself. And you go in here.
So the goals are built off of the comparison, not off of what's authentic to you.
Like what you would actually, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why they don't hold on to it as long, right? Because it's not genuinely.
It never came from you.
It never came from you. It's coming from this feeling that you feel like you should be doing something and you should be doing it now. And now there's like, you're trying to get into this realm where it's like, all right, cool. 2024, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? You know, I'm gonna get a Grammy. I'm gonna get a new business. I'm gonna get this. I'm not saying those things are bad things.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's definitely
by
not the direction.
By no means are they bad things. But I think that I would question truly whenever you create resolutions and goals, where are they coming from? Like authentically.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, 100%.
So that's where I feel like it's coming from for me. But I think I think it's important for each one of us to have goals.
Yeah.
And I think that regardless of whether or not you follow through, to January or February, I believe that the act of creating goals is fundamentally the thing that helps you to get from point A to point B, right? To climb up that ladder. So what goals do you have for 2024? Like
2024.
Yeah. I think, let's talk about what exactly it is that you got planned.
My resolutions for 2020. Well, I mean, I think I've already started working on some of my goals.
All right. Let's let them know.
Yeah, my goals have been in process probably since early May, June of this year. And it's just because I've gotten so fed up with feeling out of control of my life. And for me, one of the biggest things was really understanding and taking control of my finances, like really looking at my money, the ugly parts of it and all of it, and saying, all right, what is my goal moving forward, and how am I going to regain control of my finances? So one of my biggest goals is to get rid of my debt. And it could feel like this big thing. I could be like, oh, I'm going to get this $200,000 a debt, and I'm going to be debt free by the end of it. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'm not going to do that, because we already talked about it. When we come into a new year with the goal all the way up here and the ladder starting up here,
yeah, it's a hard fall off. That is a hard and long
fall off. And that was a little bit of transparency for you guys. You know, I mean, there's a combination of different things. You know, from homeowners that to student loans to car loans, all of these different things. Yeah. It becomes this big, overwhelming thing that you might feel you can't reach. But I'm starting small. You know, I'm starting all right. What is the first credit card look like?
Yeah.
You know, okay, now what does the second one look like? All right, we're not going to look at all of the student loans. What does this loan look like? What does that one look like? And we're just going to tackle it in a snowball effect kind of way. So I've become really obsessed with understanding how I use my money, how I spend, whether it's emotional spending versus like logical spending, whether it's, you know, because I mean, a lot of the things that we do with our money is emotional.
Yeah,
you know?
I'd probably say 90% of the things that I own.
Yes, 90%.
Like, oh, I like that. That makes me happy.
Emotional spending. Yes. And if we're talking about that comparison game, it could really get ugly.
Listen.
So yeah, that's one of my biggest goals on a personal level, and I also feel like, you know, it might slide into what's next for me professionally. You know, I'm really interested in understanding where I fit as an individual, you know, beyond the podcast, what we bring as individuals to the podcast that are going to be the things that help our audience learn and grow and develop themselves. I think that there's an aspect in my personal world that I'm going to bring to this to the podcast, and I think that it's this year and beyond is a lot of figuring out what the entrepreneur in me looks like to the world. So I'm really obsessed with figuring that out.
Yo, well, help me when you when you get to that look, because I can tell you what, like, debt takes away, you know, especially right now. I think right now in the United States we have the highest debt to income ceiling that we've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, inflation, and I feel like the most people don't understand finances. I know I don't. Like, I don't understand the psychology of money or how money moves, or, you know, or how to truly live in abundance like that. So I think it's like, that is an incredible goal to have for the year.
Yeah. Thank you.
Incredible goal to have.
What's some goals you got?
Yeah. What do I got? I mean, now I kind of want to take away my debt. Now that I've listened to you, I can compare myself to your situation. I kind of want to take away my debt. But I think that for me, professionally, one of my biggest things right now is trying to figure out what exactly I do. Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at right now. What do I do? I've always been, you know, I gave myself the name a creative Swiss Army knife, right? And I call myself a creative Swiss Army knife because I function in a lot of different creative spaces. Got it. Right? So I've done like marketing, I've done like, you know, Google, you know, SEO, I've done social media, I've done photography, videography, I'm doing performances or commercial work, advertising. There's so many creative strategy. I've just been in so many different pockets in order for me to have to be able to make an income off of my work. Yeah. I've been in so many different places. And because of that, I don't really have a place to call home. You know, I've even added podcasting to it now that we're here. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you're looking for a podcast consultant or something, you know, hit me up. But like, I've called myself a creative Swiss Army knife, but in a lot of ways, I feel like I've called myself that because I haven't found, I guess, like a home to kind of hold all of this creative energy in. Got it. And that's what I think I'm like looking for in 2024 is a place to see, like, is there you know, whether there's a company, whether there's a LLC that I need to create, or whether there's something that I can take all of this like ability to create and put it somewhere that has much more stability than what I'm used to.
Got it.
You know, because I'm the kind of person who wakes up when God tells me to, you know what I mean? My day is determined by my heart and my soul. And then like, that's kind of like how I've lived for 5 years, you know? And it's not to say that it isn't like an enjoyable ride in a sense, because it's an adventure every day.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I'm 30 years old. I'm about to be 31 this year. So it's like there's just part of me that wants to be like
to the other side.
Yeah, you know, I'm about to the first one was rough. You feel me? The first one was rough. I was like, as soon as I turned 30, I was like, the decade. You know, because when you turn 30, now you're thinking in decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about that when I was 10.
How long before I turned 40?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about when I was 10. When I was 20, I just wanted to be 21. And now I'm 30. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, what am I going to do from now until 40? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what the mindset is. So I think like that's what I'm going to do professionally. The next half of that is actually an announcement for you guys. Excuse me. This is going to be a nice special announcement for you guys, because I have not, unless you follow me on social media, which you should, at Queen of Bergen, but I have not really, I haven't spoken about this on the podcast yet, right?
Got it.
So January of this year, literally in 2 weeks, I will be going on my second artist residency. All right, my second, please, what's a round of applause? There it is. I'm going on my second artist residency. If you followed my journey, my first artist residency was in Dubai. It was absolutely incredible. And absolutely incredible. So I actually just signed another contract. So I will be going to Costa Rica. I'll be in Costa Rica. I'll be in Limon, Costa Rica. You know, I have a 3-week residency. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be doing performances, workshops, the whole nine. And what's really, really great is that I know I wanted to do something this year, but, you know, things take time. You know, like I wasn't at the top of the ladder. I was like, all right, I'm going to try getting in 2023. And it came right in the beginning of 2024.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to be doing that. But the reason why I say that is because one of my goals is to continue using my words to navigate the world.
Beautiful.
And the fact that I'm able to do something like that in the residency is absolutely incredible. So
I love that.
That's the goal. I want to, like, you know, start off the year strong with that, but I want to keep being able to find more ways to use my words and then help other people find residencies and opportunities like that.
Dope.
So yeah, they can learn more about it on my Instagram page. But yeah, y'all can catch me in Costa Rica. We're going to figure out the podcast situation too. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about how we're going to get this done, so you make sure you don't miss out on any of the goodness that's going to be happening. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be out in the warm weather.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah. By the time I get back, your New Year's resolution should be done anyway. So I ain't going to do that to y'all.
I believe in y'all. Yeah. We starting now. We starting
right now. Is there any habits you want to leave in 2023? You know the meme where the woman has the bag and she's walking up the steps with her bad habits? Do you remember? It still exists, right? What are you leaving in 2023?
One thing I already left, it was drinking. Drinking is probably seen the last of me.
Hold up, clap. We get a lot of those. We still in here. Yeah,
that would probably get the last of me. I think that I'm going to stop saying yes to things I want to say no to.
What?
I'm going to stop saying yes to things I want to say no to. I need to take my time back. I need to take my money back. I need to take my energy back. I'm going to stop saying yes to the things I want to say no to.
Ooh.
That's it. That's me.
I like that one. You got some... Yeah, it's because you've been playing it for a long time. You've been doing this since August.
I've been in a hole. I've been in a cubby. Who am I? What is life?
You're going to stop saying yes to things you want to say no to.
Yes.
It will. Yes.
Yeah. No.
That ain't. Whatever it is, that's incredible. That is incredible. All right, you're going to have a crazy 2024. You're going to have a crazy 2024.
I'm trying to.
Dang, I don't even know what I'm gonna leave back. Dang, I'm so ready to start on anew. I'm like, wait, what? We got to remember somebody back there? I don't even know what I want to get rid of, you know, for real. Like, I think, dang, I want to maintain. If anything, I want to just maintain. You know, I think that one of the things, you know what? I actually do have something.
Okay.
This is going to be a lifelong battle. I'm not going to hold you. This is definitely, I'm not coming here.
No, we want the goals that live beyond 2024.
Yeah, this is one of those.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Long term.
I want to develop the courage to be disliked. Right? I want to develop the courage to be disliked. I want to leave in 2023 and every previous year beyond. This feeling, like in a sense of like people pleasing, but this is what I mean by the dislike thing. Being able to communicate how I feel or what my thoughts are without like, even if somebody is offended by it, if it is my truth, it needs to be my truth, you know? Like not have a fear of rejection or being exiled if I were to tell somebody something. Like, you know, there's a level to where it's like, as we really start to live authentically, and as we, like, I heard a quote one time that said that your freedom, right? Like anybody feeling offended is a symptom of your freedom, right? That's why you have enemies. That's why the further you get up and the more you're well known, you get enemies, because the thing is that the more you communicate, the more you're going to find people who connect with you and disconnect with you. And I feel like part of it is that I'm not doing that a lot because I want everyone who meets me to like me.
To like you, yeah.
I want everyone who meets me to like me. So I do. And
I gotta make sure this works for you. This works for you. And this, I'm not touching, you know.
Yes. And by definition, I can't authentically be myself that way. By definition, if I'm trying to do, because it's not possible. Yeah. It's not possible, right? You can, even if you were to ask for 1% of the people in the universe to like you, it's still not possible, right? You got 8 billion. You're not even going to meet 1%. It's good. You gonna have we just gonna have to take this blimp. So that's what I'm going to leave is this need to be liked. Ooh. You know, so that's what I want to. That one. That's what I want to move back.
I think I might borrow a little bit of that one.
Listen, we're gonna borrow each other. You know what I mean? But that's why I love doing this podcast with you. Yeah. Right. I love doing this podcast with you because I think that there is healthy comparison. Yeah. I think there is a space to do it where it's it's not a toxic environment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like as you start to go through financial stability and financial freedom and you find your way, I'm getting encouraged. Exactly. And I'm saying to myself, well, Kim can do it. You know what I mean? She done, you know what I mean? She got rid of $150K. I mean, I just got, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, I start to get motivated by your actions. Exactly. You know?
And we're all on this journey. If we're in this journey and we're on it together, but on our own paths, there are things on your path that you're gonna bring back and teach me. Yeah. And there are things that I'll bring back and teach you, and that strengthens the system that we have going on here. Exactly. It's like I can't get all of it on my path, but you could get.
Yeah, I can grab this here real quick. I'm gonna go here.
I need the. Oh, word, good looks. I needed that.
Exactly.
And then you take those tools. We kind of take those tools and bring them into our worlds, and it expands us. Yeah. Like the power of being able to communicate and build like that. Yeah. Allows us to expand as people.
100%. So yeah. 100%. That's why I love it so much, and I think that that's if you want to when you talk about this world of comparisons. Just be sure that wherever it is, it's two people. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else, be sure that this is a feeding conversation between the two individuals that you're looking at. You know what I mean? Because in a way, I'm never gonna look at you and be like, well, I got this and I got this and I got this. Yeah. That's just not the way that it's being communicated. Yeah. It's like, yo, this is how I got to here. How do you what does it look like? Oh my God, that's incredible. And then exactly. As I look at your accomplishments, I'm like, oh, how'd you get there? You're like, exactly. Oh, I did this, and this. It's like if you can show me the steps. Then I can start to be like, all right, Queen, how can I compare my situation to hers so that, because I can't do what you did to get to where you are. Doesn't matter if you gave me the blueprint. Yeah. You know, doesn't matter if you gave me the blueprint. I have to be able to take whatever it is I can from the world and apply it to my very own unique life experience in order for it to work. And that's how you're going to be able to get your New Year's resolutions to work. Is by taking any of these, whatever comparisons that you have in the universe, whatever people that you have around you, instead of feeding it into your toxicity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Take that and figure out how can you create steps that actually align with what you want to do and then what you're capable of in your own unique human experience. So I
love that.
Bet, right? So now that I feel like that was a solid 3 Bs.
I think that, yeah. I think that really was.
I feel like those are the 3 B's for 2024. Those are the 3 B's for 2024. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I think fundamentally that was a solid 3 B's.
Yeah.
So let's do the book recommendation.
Before we leave 2023,
okay,
what is the one book that you will take to the rest of your life?
Ooh. Sheesh, Kim. That's how we gonna start. Profound. I'm gonna take it the rest of my life. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to put the information inside of the into the description because I don't know the author's name.
Got it.
Right, I don't know the author's name on the top of my head, but the book that I'm going to take into 2024, right, and for the rest of my life, because this is a really great thing, is You Hear Me? I believe the book is called You Hear Me, but it was actually a book recommendation I did in the past. And You Hear Me is a book about validating other people's thoughts. Yeah, You Hear Me is a really, really great book. But I really enjoyed that book simply for the fact that I feel like I'm learning a lot about how to communicate my thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
But I think in doing that, I need to be extremely conscious about how I listen to people's thoughts and feelings, because most people want to be heard.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? Most people want to be heard. And part of me wants to kind of get into the psychology of like, how do I like stand out, but also be there to listen to what is being said to me, to be able to navigate. So I think it's that's probably the book that I'm probably going to take into 2024.
2024 and beyond.
Yeah. So what you got?
All right. So for me, I think the book that I'm going to take, and it's actually one that I just started to revisit again, is Atomic Habits.
That's a good book.
I'm taking Atomic Habits with me 2024 and beyond for the very reason that we said people fail at resolutions.
Yeah.
It's because I and like many others, I've been plagued over and over and over with the big idea. Over and over. And it's gotten to a point where I really want to focus on the small steps. Yeah. The steps that'll take to get to the top.
Yeah. Were those the steps?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You heard the little.
That's how small your steps should be.
Yeah.
That's exactly how. That's how. Yeah. If you heard it,
sound like a little mouse running across. Yes.
Pitter patters. Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Yes, Atomic Habits. I'm taking that into my 2024 and beyond, and I hope that you guys take some time to read it as well. I think it's very, very important for us to break down the big things, and make it sizable, make it something that we can manage so that we can actually accomplish the bigger things. And I'm looking for millions of ways, things to break down, and I really want to get my head around this concept, because I think much like the financial journey, once I can wrap my head around that, these personal experiences that I'm going through and these things that I'm trying to pursue are ultimately going to be the things that I wound up sharing with the world. And so I'm excited.
No, that's a really, really good book. That's a really, really good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that aligned perfectly with the goals. So, shout out to you on that front.
Yeah.
So before we end this episode, we are going to do our famous shout out, okay? We are going to be shouting out someone really important.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some place really important to us, right? Because we're going to be doing this shout out.
Yes.
For the studio at Kearny Point. All right. Yeah, exactly where we are. 360, all 4 walls.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
This shout out is going to be for the studio at Kearny Point. All right. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. Right.
Yes.
Not only for creating that opportunity for podcasters to come together to learn about how to create a podcast, and what it takes for me to, and how your business can grow from podcasting, right? Because there's a lot of good information that came from that event, but in a way becoming this community that we've been a part of for a few months, because we didn't know that we would come back here, right? And then giving us the opportunity to record an episode, right? A whole episode in this beautiful space. All right.
Yes.
So please, check it out. We're gonna put all the information for the studio at Kearny Point in the show notes and the YouTube description for you guys to check it out. Also, big shout out to Scott.
Yes.
Right. He can hear my voice. I know he can, but he's focused and he's working. You know what I mean? Folks been working to make sure that we look as attractive as we do right now. All right? So if you looking at us, you see like, oh my goodness, they look delicious. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a man behind the board who's making it happen. All right? Absolutely gorgeous.
Yes. Thank you so much, Scott. We thank you for, this opportunity here, for the multiple times that we've been able to visit Kearny Point, and, just the way that you guys have treated us here and just given us multiple opportunities to really connect and build community. I think that being here at the top of 2024 is just like, it's setting in stone that build of community, that whole vibe that we're developing here. Yep. So yeah, genuinely appreciate you for setting that off in 2023, and I hope that we continue to, build our relationship here and connect with everyone, everyone in this location.
100%. So thank you to every single one of you souls for tuning into this very, very special edition of the Life We Chose podcast. If you're listening on audio, that 5-star, nothing less. You feel me? I need as many as you got fingers is how I want to see stars. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe and comment down what goals, forget the resolutions, what goals do you have in 2024 and what are you leaving behind?
Yes.
All right. We want to know what you're leaving behind. So please check us out on YouTube, on audio streaming, and be sure to follow us, The Life We Chose Pod. Thank you so much for joining us.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Yeah, this is the life that we chose. All about goals, all about getting the go. Pedal to metal, we drove. Head to the heels, I want to get me a bow. 2020 be the vision depicted the growth. Before I could get on the road, look at the level she rose. Cheddar, 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 check me.